Welcome to our preview of William Reid Stakes Night and, of course, racing at Caulfield on Saturday, the conclusion to the 2012 Melbourne Festival of Racing. We're down at Balnarring this morning, Steve Moran's home ground, and Steve Moran from Best Bets does join us here at Balnarring to preview the weekend's races. And Steve, another great card at Moonee Valley Friday night, Group 1 racing, the last for their night racing season.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to it, Andrew. It's a terrific conclusion to the carnival, particularly the Friday night fixture, and plenty of depth in the races at Caulfield on Saturday as well. So it's terrific racing in Melbourne this weekend. Let's
focus our attention first off with the William Reid, the power tracker William Reid Stakes. Great field, isn't it?
It's a terrific race. You would think that Haylist would have a mortgage on it, but you glance through the opposition and not only is there those horses that have been very competitive against him, a la Buffering and Foxwedge, but a couple of wild cards, Rekindled Interest resuming, Midsummer Music. There's certainly some depth to the race. I mean, naturally, you have to default to Haylist. If he gets to the races fit and well, he theoretically should win. What I particularly like is the fact that he's drawn 4. The 2 other natural horses on the speed are probably Buffering and Foxwedge drawn inside him. He can control the race, no matter what the pattern is at Moonee Valley. If they're leading and winning from the front, he's there to pounce. If you need to be off the fence a fraction, he's perfectly drawn as well. If he's fit and well, he'll beat them, Haylist.
And is there any concern in your eyes of that injury that we've heard of the last 24 hours of the bruised heel for the champ?
Well, I think you have to take these things at face value. If he gets to the post, he's okay. If not, well, then it's a different kettle of fish and the race becomes wide open. It looks to be a fairly easy race to read in the sense that the only 3 naturally going forward are Haylist, Buffering, probably Foxwedge Park behind them. So the pattern of racing will be significant. If it's playing to the leaders or playing as a level playing field, they'll probably dominate the race. If they're starting to swoop, well, then the race takes on a different complexion with the likes of Wirram, so good in the Oakley Plate, the Newmarket, Rekindled Interest and Midsummer Music. They'll all be swooping and all be finishing strongly. But, it's late in the night. You'll have a feel for the pattern. I think it's probably be a good betting race.
What about your best for the night at Moonee Valley?
Best for the night, I think I'd probably default to Empress Rock, race 5, number 1. I know that she had the right run of the race in the CUNY, but I think the same will evolve here on Friday night. She's perfectly drawn. There's very little pace in the race. Stephen Arnold can sum it up. He can go forward if he so desires, and I doubt there'll be a great deal of pressure. I think she'll win again, Empress Rock.
Something at each way odds for us?
Something at each way at the Valley. I thought race 3, number 4, Sir Fernando, who was very good winning at the Valley last time, carved out some pretty quick sectionals, ran good overall time. He'll be right on top of the speed. I think he can win again, and he'll certainly be backable odds. Race 3, number 4.
And we always ask you for something get really nice odds, a roughie for the night.
Well, I think it might be absolutely first up in the Sunline. She's come to hand pretty well. She looks a more impressive mare this time around. I've seen her a couple of times out at Cranbourne. The Coolmore had been contemplated. This looks a softer option. She'll probably still benefit with this hit out under her belt, but if she's double figure odds, she could surprise, I think, absolutely.
All right, so the 2 key ones there out of Moonee Valley for Steve on Friday night is, of course, Haylist in the William Reid and Empress Rock as his best for the night. We can't forget that the weekend also continues on to Saturday, and it is back to Caulfield again for Thoroughbred Club Stakes Day there. You've had a look at those fields for us. You've got a best at Caulfield for us on Saturday. Yeah,
I thought that race 2, number 1, Assertive Eagle, was probably a standout on the CUNY performance. They've bypassed the fillies feature on Friday night. Handily in with the claim. Well drawn, goes forward, can control the race again. I think that she should be winning race 2, number 1, Assertive Eagle.
And again, we'll work through some at value each way and a roughie for the punters on Saturday at Caulfield.
Yeah, I thought Pango Rock each way was probably the obvious, which is race 5, number 6. A couple of terrific runs, his last 2 at 1400, and he looks perfectly drawn to have the run of the race here. Luxan, of course, is going to have his admirers. Might make a price for Pango Rock. Luxan going to the 1400 for the first time. There's probably no apparent reason why he wouldn't cope, but we haven't seen him. I would default to the each way option as being Pango Rock.
And a roughie for us?
The roughie, I reckon it might be Mr. Chard. Gee, ran a cracking race in the Newmarket first up from such a long break. Really terrific performance. We all talked about the depth in that race. If he's got through it okay and he's not jaded by it, he'll be 15 or 20 to 1 in this sprint race on Saturday, and I reckon he might be the roughie, Mr. Chard.
Question without notice, 20 seconds on the Randvet in Sydney on Saturday.
20 seconds on the Randvet in Sydney on Saturday. Who's running?
Southern Speed.
Southern Speed. Well, she'll take some beating. Who else is running, Andrew? Why did you ask me that?
Question without notice, Steve. Thanks for your time down here at Balnarring this morning.
My pleasure, Andrew.